Hi ladies, good morning, good morning. I am here live today talking about why we get into toxic relationships. But before I do that, I just want to make sure that I am actually live. Can you guys please comment and let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, because I actually don't know if this thing is working until I see comments on the live, until I see that people are here watching. So yes, if you can hear me, if you can see me, please let me know. Please leave a comment or give me a heart, whatever. But yeah, let me know where you are watching from and if you guys got this massive snow. So I'm in New York at the moment in the Northeast, and we just got a ton of snow. So let me know if you got that snow. I'm very curious. And also, yes, please let me know if you can see me, if you can hear me, if everything is okay here. All right, so why we get into toxic relationships. Oh, but first, in case you guys are new here, I want to introduce myself. My name is Lindsay, and I help women recover from toxic relationships so that they can find peace, happiness, and real love when they're ready. All right, guys, so if you are ready for this, let me know. Give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, say I am, just something in the comments so I can see who is here and who is ready. Okay, so I'm gonna start. I don't see any comments, so I hope you guys can hear me. Let me just double check here and make sure I am on. Okay. So also, as I'm going through here, if you guys have any questions that you want me to answer about this topic or about toxic relationships in general, whatever I'm talking about, feel free to put them in the comments and I will try to answer as I go through this live here. Okay, so why do we end up in toxic relationships? Well, there's a few things that are going on. But usually the number one reason is because deep down, unconsciously, we don't feel worthy of having real love, of being in a healthy relationship. And this is often because real love, healthy relationships, are unfamiliar to us. So if you have experienced this, please let me know. Please drop a comment here if this is something that you have experienced. If you have experienced a pattern of these difficult relationships, maybe you might even be aware of this. You might be aware that you deep down don't feel like you deserve real love, you don't feel worthy of it, or you might be feeling like it is uncomfortable. So let me take this way back. Let's get the big picture here. When we have had difficult childhoods, trauma in our past, when we had difficult relationships with our caregivers, one parent, both parents, whoever was raising us, that stays in our unconscious if we don't do any healing about it. Like if we don't address it, if we don't take a look at it, that stays there. And it's unconscious. And that becomes essentially the blueprint that you use to find a partner. So, for example, if you experienced a relationship with your mother that was very difficult, maybe she was narcissistic, maybe she was abusive, that becomes your comfort zone, right? That becomes what you are familiar with. And so unconsciously, you get pulled into these relationships with people that fit that template, that fit that mold, that feel very familiar to you in that way. Now, tell me if you guys can relate to this. Let me know, because this is something that I experienced in my past. When someone was interested in me and they were good for me, they treated me well, they were healthy partners, I said, no, this is not my type. This person's kind of boring. I don't feel anything. I'm not that attracted to them. Please comment here. Let me know if you have experienced this, okay? And I don't know why I don't think my comments are working today. I apologize, guys. I'll get, if the comments aren't coming through, I will go back to them later and reply to them. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, let me know if you have experienced this, because this often means that what is familiar to you and what you are comfortable with is unhealthy relationships. So this was my experience. When healthy people came around me and wanted to love me, I was like, nah, no. Or alternatively, I got very scared. I got very nervous. I was very uncomfortable because it was way out of my comfort zone and what I actually believed I was worthy of. So that's what often happens. Our brains as human beings are wired to stay in our comfort zones. It's called the survival instinct. It's our reptilian brain that is drawn to what's familiar, because survival, basically anything that hasn't killed us, is considered safe. So the brain keeps going towards those things that are familiar to us but literally haven't killed us. So that doesn't mean that this is a good thing, though, because in a toxic relationship, these are unhealthy relationships. We don't want to just continue to go towards something that, yes, okay, well, it hasn't killed us yet, but truthfully, in some cases, these relationships can be extremely dangerous. But this is what the survival instinct brain is telling us, saying, okay, if this situation hasn't killed you yet, it's safe. So we'll keep going towards that, okay? So that's one thing that's going on. It's that healthy love feels unfamiliar to us, it feels uncomfortable, and therefore we push it away because deep down we feel unworthy of it. So what's also going on here is when we have that unconscious trauma from our past, from childhood, there is a part of us that wants to heal it. It wants resolution. So what we sometimes tend to do, again, unconsciously, is go towards partners who we feel we can resolve something with. And by that I mean these partners will fit a particular mold, a particular pattern of someone that we had a difficult situation with, again, earlier in life, childhood, and we want to resolve it. So we think unconsciously, perfect, this is the person that I'm going to resolve this with. This time, it's going to be different. And so we try to heal these wounds with a person who is similar to the person who originally hurt us, and it doesn't work, right? Let me know if you have done this. If you've tried to have a relationship with someone who was very similar to someone who hurt you in the past, and you were trying to make it right, trying to make it work, and it didn't work. But that's what it is. It's an unconscious draw towards resolution, to trying to resolve a conflict or a wound from earlier. But again, it's unconscious and it doesn't work. But this is what happens. So I want to share a story with you guys. I want to share an experience that I had that really just illustrates what is going on here. So a couple of years ago, when I was first starting to understand all this stuff about abusive relationships, healthy relationships, I was just figuring all this out. And I had been on a spiritual path for a while, so I was developing what they call awareness, which is the ability to just witness yourself, to witness your unconscious behaviors. It essentially, you watch the unconscious behaviors and it becomes conscious, and that's how you heal and shift these patterns. So I was developing that, and I was at the point in my journey where I had the ability to really witness myself, okay? So I was at work, and this man came in who I thought was cute. I was very attracted to him initially. We started talking. He didn't work there. He was just kind of like a contractor or something. But as we were talking, this man was throwing off all kinds of red flags, left and right. just things where I was like, oh my gosh, this is not someone who I should get involved with. But as that was happening, I watched myself, I witnessed myself, my unconscious stuff. I watched myself light up. I watched myself feel this super strong pull towards this person. And I watched myself become super attracted to this person, even when these massive red flags were excuse me, were going off left and right. I was just struck by how strong that pull was to this person who would have been the worst for me, the absolute worst. But there was this thing inside me, this blueprint that was drawing me towards this person for the reasons that I explained. Unconsciously I wanted to resolve something from my past. It was also a very familiar dynamic to me. Okay. So at that point, I didn't go for this person. I was aware enough to know, no, this is not the right person for me. But that's how strong this stuff can be. And if you're not aware that that's what's happening, you get pulled right into those toxic relationships and you go, well, everyone must be abusive or manipulative. Like, all people are like this. No, that's not the reality. What's really happening is we're getting pulled to them. We're choosing them. Okay, so the question is, how do we shift this, right? How do we get out of this pattern of being attracted and choosing people who are not healthy for us, who can't really truly give us the love, care, and affection that we deserve? So I'll tell you what I did. I'll share how I shifted this. So I did, again, like I was on this spiritual path, and so I had developed this awareness, and I became super conscious of what was making me attracted towards certain people. So like in the example that I shared with you about my work story, if I felt that really strong pull towards someone that lit me up right away, I checked that. Like, I checked myself. I said, okay, what is this attraction? Is this a healthy attraction towards someone that is good for me? Are they showing the healthy relationship behaviors that I want them to be showing? And if you guys are here, you should, like, if you're here in this group watching this, you should have my healthy relationship behavior checklist. And if you don't, comment checklist here and I'll send that over to you. But that's what I use essentially. I would go through the checklist and say, okay, is this a healthy attraction that I'm feeling? Is this person showing kindness? Are they showing empathy? Are they communicating well? Is this a person that I should go for, right? Or am I feeling the attraction of familiar dysfunction? And that's when I knew that this is not who I should be going for. So you have to be very, very conscious of the why of your attraction. Sometimes I explain this like alcoholics, right? If you're an alcoholic, you're kind of always going to be drawn towards having a drink, towards that alcohol. But if you're recovering, that drink is terrible for you. You need to stay away from it because it's good for you to stay away from it. So is this making sense to you guys so far? Please let me know if you're following. Again, I don't know what's up with my comments today. I can't really see them. But let me know if you're following this because I want to make sure this is making sense to you. So yes, you may always be drawn towards that type. So your job here to shift out of this pattern is to become conscious of it. Conscious of why you're choosing these partners, conscious of why you're feeling attracted, and you may not always know right away. And so the second thing that I did to really shift this pattern is I got support. I got a mentor because we can't always see our blind spots here. I at this point in my journey, I was able to see it because I had developed a strong awareness, the ability to witness myself. But not everybody is at that point. And if you're not at that point, it can be very difficult to spot this stuff because these relationships can feel very compelling. They can feel very right. They can almost feel like a soulmate level connection at first. And again, what's usually happening there is it's a wound mate connection, if that makes sense. Your wounds are matching their wounds perfectly and it feels right, but it is not actually right. And so it can be hard to spot that. So I got a mentor to just help me to check myself, so to speak, to bounce ideas off of, to make sure that I was going in the right direction in my dating and in choosing people to be in my life. Oh, good. All of a sudden I can see comments now. Awesome. April, thank you. Okay, you're relating to what I'm saying. Okay. Oh, Brittany has a question. How do we resolve within ourselves what we took on, the woundedness? Yes. Okay, that's my next step. So what I did then was I used the energy healing method that I personally like the best. It's the one I love. It's called the emotion code. And it releases all of that baggage that is causing you to be drawn towards those types that are not healthy for you. And another thing that I did here also was I listened to a ton of guided meditations, and that's what I have a program that helps women walk through this stuff. And this is essentially the program that I put together is essentially the path that I took, the steps that I took. So yeah, so Brittany, to answer your question, I focused on the emotional wounds. And I really looked at the things that I was believing about myself, that I wasn't worthy of love. And I worked to shift those beliefs. And again, I did this through the energy healing, but also through the guided meditations. Because guided meditations are really, they're like a light hypnosis. And they work to shift your subconscious thought patterns to patterns that are more positive and that will bring you to what you want. And I also did a little bit of cognitive behavioral therapy, again, to address those beliefs that I had about myself, that I had about people, that I didn't feel like I was worthy of love. And then I went out there and I just started dating. But this time, I went for people who were clearly very healthy for me. The kind of people who in the past I would have been like, they're just not my type. I thought they were cute, but again, I wasn't feeling any attraction, so I would have been like, no. So what I did was I took those people, not the actual people, but those types of people, and I gave them a chance. And what happened was slowly I did start to develop feelings for them. I did start to feel that attraction for them. But it was a transition, and it wasn't like the relationships I had had in the past where it was that instant, all right, there's excitement here, there's chemistry, yes, this is feeling right. It wasn't like that. It was more of a slow, comfortable experience. It was slowly unfolding instead of that burning, fiery, exciting thing that I had been used to. And it was boring at first, only because I was so used to all of that drama from the relationships in my past. So in the beginning, my healthy relationship felt, a little boring. Does it feel boring now? No. It feels amazing now because I have again healed a lot of those wounds, and I understand that drama and excitement is terrible for me in the long run. If I look back on those relationships where I had that, I was incredibly drained. I was exhausted. Yeah, sure, I was having some highs, but those lows were really, really low. And all of my energy was consumed by those relationships. I had I had no time to really spend on me, to do the things that I wanted to do. So the way I see this now is this relationship is incredibly better for me. So that's really the process that I went through. And again, like, this is what I walk the women through in my program. I have very specific steps of the things that I did to transition myself from the bad relationships into the good relationships. And it starts with the awareness, becoming aware of your patterns, becoming aware of why you're drawn to certain types, and then working on the emotional healing and learning how to date differently. You need all of those things to shift these patterns. So let me see, what else did I want to tell you guys here? Yeah, so again, this process is what I cover in my program. So if you are interested in this, comment Living Free. That is the name of my program, and I'll reach out to you and we can talk and see if it's right for you. But I can say that if you work with me, you will not end up in a toxic relationship, because I will not let you. The women who work with me, they do not end up in toxic relationships. They break that cycle. Because again, I've gone on this journey. I now know, I can see very, very clearly when a relationship is going to be toxic, when someone is not showing up in the way that you need them to, in a way that I was not able to years ago when I was first coming out of all of these bad relationships. So again, send me, comment Living Free if you are interested in that. I will reach out to you. And I want you guys, if you haven't signed up, so next week I'm not going to be doing this live, because I'm going to be going live for 3 days here in this group. I'm going to be doing a free deprogramming intensive, and that's going to be Monday the 8th, Tuesday the 9th, and Wednesday the 10th, right here in this group. So if you haven't signed up for that already, comment intensive, and I will send you the information to sign up for that. This is essentially the intensive is the first part of my program. I actually have a brand new online course that goes with my coaching program, and this is the first part. So if you are fresh out of a toxic relationship and feeling kind of gaslit, kind of confused, like you don't know which way is up or down, like I when I first got out of a toxic relationship, I felt like I had honestly lost my sanity a little bit. So that's why I created this intensive, and it's to deprogram you from the effects of a toxic relationship and get your sanity back, get your clarity back, let go of that guilt that you've been carrying around from your past, from the relationship. So yeah, comment intensive if you want that info, and the intensive will be here live in this group. It's going to be live at 7 p.m. each night. And if you sign up, you get all the reminders and all the replays so you don't miss any of it. But yeah, do you guys have, I'm going to try to see if I have some comments here. Do you have any questions about why we end up in toxic relationships and how to shift that pattern? I mean, the main thing here to remember is it's because these relationships are familiar to us and we're drawn towards what's familiar. So in order to shift that, we have to get out of our comfort zone, go towards what's unfamiliar, move through that discomfort and fear until it becomes your comfort zone, until love, kindness, and healthy love becomes what you are familiar with. So yeah, any questions? I will check my comments here. Okay, I don't see it at the moment. And if you want to comment later, I can get back to it later and answer when I can. But thank you ladies for watching and for commenting. Give me a heart if this was helpful to you, or let me know in the comments. And you can also let me know what kinds of topics you want me to cover in the future. Because usually I have some ideas, but I love to hear what ideas you guys have. All right, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.